Hello, I'm Michael, and welcome to Education Policy Matters. Today, we're diving into one of the hottest educational topics of 2023, the emergence of AI, specifically the web-based phenomenon Chat GPT. And joining us for this chat today, Adrian, a Director of Studies for an ELC to Year 12 college from Adelaide in South Australia.
We can't let the tech industry drive the narrative. If tech industry gets to decide what education looks like, the human nature of teaching and learning will just go down to the floor, and that's going to be really bad for humans.
Join us as we decode the policy agenda for Chat GPT and the future of learning, because education policy matters. Welcome and thanks for joining the podcast. Artificial intelligence gained prominence with the introduction of Chat GPT in November 2022. Developed by OpenAI, ChatGPT, it's an AI chatbot. It provides automatic text-based responses. And in contrast to search engines like Google, which provide website links, ChatGPT offers detailed textual responses, making it much more powerful. Teacher and Director of Studies Adrian Cotterell recalls the conversation with his wife when he first learned about ChatGPT.
Yeah, this AI thing's going to be a big thing, I think. And she's like, they've been saying it for years. I'm like, yeah, it's come.
AI's impact on education, well, it's generated diverse responses. It enables tasks such as essay writing or work editing in unprecedented ways. In a recent article published by Cindy Gordon in Forbes in April 2023, titled "How Are Educators Reacting to ChatGPT?", the positive and negative aspects of AI in education, particularly ChatGPT, are explored. The article highlights risks to student learning and cognitive development. Evidence-based arguments are presented, including the banning of ChatGPT in several Australian states and US schools. The article raises concerns about the potential development of what it calls a lazy student syndrome, where students rely on ChatGPT for ideas and research, impeding independent thinking, creativity, and curiosity.
The one-to-one immediate feedback that you can get from AI is incredible, and that will help learning. For sure, that's going to help for learning.
The article cites leading industry expert George Veletsianos expressing concerns about the impact of ChatGPT and generative AI tools on the education sector. The article also addresses issues of academic plagiarism and the ethical implications of students claiming ownership of their work. Further, it mentions South Australia's Education Minister, Blair Boyer, approving and encouraging ChatGPT for use in educational institutions in his state.
Well, I gave ChatGPT to one of my students and said, "You've written 750, write 500. Like, ask for suggestions." It gave these awesome suggestions. And the kid didn't end up using suggestions because he felt like he was cheating. Because he was a good kid, you know?
South Australia's Education Department aims to lead the nation in integrating AI into the school curriculum, according to Chief Executive Martin Westwell. This sets them apart from other Australian states' responses. However, this goal necessitates appropriate professional learning for teachers, as outlined by Deborah Nedelicki in 2020. The South Australian government's approach contrasts with Herbert's research, emphasising the need for policymakers to consider individual school contexts for successful implementation. A whole-of-state implementation, in this case announced over the school holiday break, doesn't really seem like a local contextual approach. The Forbes article concludes by emphasising the importance of establishing ethical guidelines and relevant safeguards for students using AI tools like ChatGPT, as these technologies seem to be here to stay.
The tech industry is saying the benefit of AI for education is every kid will have a personal tutor or teacher now. And so all they have to do is engage with their AI teacher and they can learn more effectively than what they can now.
Policy shapes and influences school leadership, including the response to ChatGPT and AI. In 2000, OSCA defined policy texts as any vehicle or medium for carrying or transmitting a policy message. Now, this means that any way a school is transmitting a policy message about AI is in fact policy. Now, here in SA, the digital strategy for 2023 to 2026 has recently been released by the Department for Education as a key policy in this regard. It aims to empower schools and preschools to deliver high quality education using digital technology and prepare students for a digital future. Stephen Ball in 2008 suggests that we take a broad approach to policy analysis, examining the influence, production and practice. So firstly, the influence. The SA Education Department digital strategy has been influenced by the goal of building a world-leading education system in SA. It was produced through a consultation process involving workshops, surveys, case studies, and interviews with over 2,000 participants. The policy reflects the global education reform movement, GERM, and the digital education guidance, researched by Verger et al. In 2018 and Williamson in 2016. So, what about the policy in practice? Well, the strategy seems to lack specific mentions of technologies like AI, Chat GPT, despite their importance. This broad approach raises questions about its policy's effectiveness. Meantime, in the United States, the Department for Education in May 2023 published a report which shows the clear need for sharing knowledge and developing policies for artificial intelligence. The report's entitled Artificial Intelligence and the Future of Teaching and Learning. And one of the fascinating standout features of their report was the following visualisation. And rather than me read it, why don't I hand over to my wife?
We envision a technology-enhanced future more like an electric bike and less like robot vacuums. On an electric bike, the human is fully aware and fully in control, but their burden is less and their effort is multiplied by a complementary technological enhancement. Robot vacuums do their job, freeing the human from involvement or oversight.
What a powerful visual image that is. Now, Adrian Cotterell believes that a response is needed in terms of educational assessments, specifically a red light, yellow light, green light approach. Assessments could be classified as red light, meaning no Chat GPT is allowed. For example, a maths test without technology. Yellow light tasks are where there is some use of Chat GPT allowed, with limitations and guidance provided. And finally, green light tasks are where Chat GPT is required and needed. Adrian believes this is a way that schools need to respond to Chat GPT.
And there's times where you have to do a red task and you don't have the tool. Man, you got to think still. You got to learn. There's yellow tasks, and so it's the same for home or school. And then there's green tasks where it's just like you just got to be thinking way differently than what we've thought before.
This traffic light model seems to be a useful approach for mediating technologies like ChatGPT.
Educational assessment, moving into the future, there should be red tasks, yellow tasks, and green tasks. I don't believe in a future that I can see so far that education should be all about the green task, and there's no hierarchy.
So what then does this mean for teachers?
If we're going to work out what teachers are going to spend most of their time doing, I'd rather them spend time on changing their assessments for red, yellow, green than all that time that could be spent policing. A lot of schools are really leaning hard into GPT-0, turn it in, and it's just like, and they're just not accurate. You tell a kid they get a 0 because turn it in gives it 90%. And you work out that Turnitin gives 90% for heaps of things that it shouldn't do. That's just not good. It's bad culture. It's just like teachers are becoming the police and assuming kids are doing the wrong thing. Like, I hate that.
This red, yellow and green light policy direction is an example of a local approach, but I think it has merit for broader implementation. Policies such as the Department for Education's digital strategy could include such policy directions so that there's clear guidance for all of South Australian schools. It's worth noting that Adrian's a Director of Studies at an independent school which can set their own agenda and don't necessarily have to follow the government school policy direction. Independent schools are going to need to work collaboratively on this whilst maintaining their individual autonomy.
We now give a Year 8 the most powerful tool ever created in this Chat GPT. You've got to have higher expectations because the kids should be able to produce things quicker and better because of the tool.
The big challenge ahead for schools is adopting to this change.
This is about the change management. Teachers haven't had enough time to even think about how to do this. So I think once teachers have had enough take-up time, but once they've had initial time to kind of go, all right, what's red and needs to be actually turned into red, and what's actually yellow and we want to keep yellow, and once we've had the time to grapple with that, then I think, well, let's turn on ChatGPT because then the green stuff can start happening.
So what do you think? Amidst a space of policy ambiguity, how are you going to respond to the rise of AI in education? What do you think of Cotterell's red, yellow and green light approach for assessments regarding ChatGPT? We started the podcast unpacking the article, How Are Educators Reacting to ChatGPT? And I certainly think a response is needed. No response is still a response. A big thanks to our special guest, Adrian Cotterell, and thanks to you for joining us today on Education Policy Matters.